Okay everyone, so in this next lesson, we'll just be trying to remove the text decoration here, but I just wanted to go and have a discussion of some of the other property values of the text decoration property here. So you would see that it can be applied in other elements such as H1, H2, H3, and H4. And we can see here that there's an example on what can be the value that we can implement or assign to each of the text decoration properties that are inside of some of the H1s that we have here in our example. So if we try to go down here, it says here that the text decoration property specifies the decoration added to the text. It is a shorthand property for the text decoration line, text decoration color, and text decoration style. So if we try to open up this try it yourself example, let's just see that, and then just go down here. Let's just go and try to see how this works. So there's the description here. It sets the kind of text decoration to use, like underline, overline, line through. So those are some of the values that you can implement. Sets the color of the text decoration, sets the style of the text decoration, like solid, wavy, dotted, dash, double, and property value to default. This will be inheriting the property from its parent element, so that it will be practicing inheritance. So here, let's just look at some of the examples here. So it showed here that these are some of the things that will happen if we use the text decoration overline. And here we have text decoration line through. You would see that it's in the middle of the text. And underline will be the text decoration will be below the text. And here, underline and overline, it displayed both on top and below. So you can combine two values here for the text decoration. Now let's go and try to check out the other documentation from MDN, and it says here it's a shorthand CSS property similar to the description here, and it says that it will be setting the appearance of decorative lines or decorative lines on text. It is the shorthand for text decoration line, color, and style. And there's a newer text decoration thickness property. So we can see here underline. It's showing us here an example, dotted, underline and dotted. We have here underline, dotted, red, green, wavy, underline, and underline, overline, and hex values. We can see here some description that we should be aware of. It says here that text decorations are drawn across descendant text element or elements. This means that if an element specifies a text decoration, then a child element cannot remove the decoration. For example, in the markup, this text has some emphasized words from where the paragraph element is the parent element of the emphasize element or the EM element. The style rule P text decoration underline would cause the entire paragraph to be underlined. As you can see here, this is the benefit of looking up different documentations. At least we now know that this can be an event or something that might happen if ever we will be using the text decoration. It says here that the style rule EM with the property text decoration with the value none would not cause any change, and that the entire paragraph would still be underlined. However, the rule EM text decoration overline would cause a second decoration to appear on some emphasized words. So that's something that we should be taking note of. So again, I would suggest that you run through the documentation here, so at least you will be more familiarized with some of the syntax that we have for using the text decoration property. So it shows here that the property is a shorthand for the text decoration color, line, style, thickness. We already know that. Here, the property is specified as one or more space-separated values representing the various longhand text decoration properties. So for the values, we have text decoration line, sets the kind of decoration used such as underline or line through. Text decoration color will be setting the color. The text decoration style will be setting the decorations such as solid, wavy, or dash, and the thickness will be setting the thickness of the line used for the decoration. So formal syntax will be here. We can see here text decoration line, style, color, text decoration thickness. So here, if we check the examples here for the CSS class selectors, we can see that there are two values for the under text decoration code block here. Here we have three values. So that means that would be the line, wavy, text decoration style will be overline, and the color will be lime. So if we go down here, we can see that, so there it is. So that this text has a line underneath it. This one has a text that has a line over it. So we have wavy for the decoration line, overline, which is on top, which is the text decoration style, and the lime is the color. So we can see here. Okay, so I'm hoping you got the idea here, guys. Now let's go proceed to our project here, and let's try to remove the text decorations inside of our anchor elements. Now we're back here inside of our code editor, and we have here the class header links. So that's the reference that we use for styling the different anchor element text or element content inside of the anchor elements. Let's go up here, and we have our header links. So now what we want to do here to remove the underline is just to go and define the text decoration property and then give it a value of none. So if I go and save that and go back to our browser here and refresh it, now you would see that the text decoration is now removed from our navigation. Now I just want to go and do some more tweaks in our navigation here. So let's go to our code editor here, and then I just want to go and remove the font size initial here. Let me just check what will that do in our browser. We can see here that because of the width of the navigation here, the contact anchor link here went down. We don't want that, so I would want you to think of a way on how we can go and bring this back here. And let's pause the video for a while and then try to solve it on your own, and then I'm going to implement the method that I use for making this go back here. Okay, so let's try to go and implement that, and let's go to our code editor here, and then let's look for the header navigation that has the background color RGB 1684 to 11, and then let's try to go and give it a value of width property 37.5%. So you can actually play around with this, guys, and my advice will be to try to give your project your own unique tweak, meaning try to implement certain things in your project that will be your own innovative implementation. Now let's try to go and check if this will work. So let me go back to our browser here. Okay, so we can see it's still not yet working. So what could be the problem? Let's try to go and do some troubleshooting here. I'm going to look for the header here, or the header nav here. So we can see that the width 37.5% is not being rendered. And if we try to look at the div class header nav here, we can see that we have a style width 30% with a padding of 2 pixels. So perhaps that's the reason why this is not being implemented. The width percentage here that we gave inside of the header nav class selector declaration is not being implemented by the browser. So let's try to go and remove this inline style here. So again, this is a good experience for us to practice specificity, and we are also practicing debugging. So let's try to go and try to remove this first from our developer tools here, and see what will happen. Okay, so there you go. We were able to implement increasing the size of our navigation here by removing the values or the styling that we implemented inline inside of the header nav div class, or the div element that has the class name header nav. Of course, we would want to go and implement what we've done here inside of our code editor, because again, the developer tools will just be good for testing, and if we refresh it, it will not be affecting the code that we have inside of our code editor. So let's go back to our code editor here and then look for that style, inline style here. So let's try to go, and I'm going to copy this and put it inside of a comment, guys, just so that we can have it as a reference that we had a styling that we implemented here before, just in case we would want to go back and implement this value for our styling inline styles here. So at least we will also have a reference on what the changes we have done. So let me go and save this and then try to go back to our browser. Okay, so there you go. We were able to go and increase the width of our navigation here, the header nav. I also want to implement some other tweaks here. So let me just go back to the header nav here. And then I want it to be the position to be fixed, so that when we go and try to scroll our browser or our web page here, you would see that it's scrolling together with the section, it's scrolling together with the screen. And you can see here that it's behind the table once we scroll. So a quick solution to this is we get to use the z-index property and we give it a value of 1. Okay, so let me just go and try to refresh this again, and then let's try to scroll here on our screen. So now it's on top of the table that we have here. Okay, so that's great. Now I just want to go and also remove the font size large here. Instead, I'm going to use an absolute font size value in our font size for the body element. So let's go and try to refresh this. Okay, so it's looking much better now. So that will be all for this lesson, and thank you, and see you on our next lesson.